Meditation can be prayer, and so can prompt engineering. Now we can use images as prompts. Thinking of new concepts can be intimidating, so I have a stack of them. These are the ones that passed the grandma test. Basically, can I produce something that's as interesting as something my grandma would spend time going through? The other ones might, I just haven't tried. The concept is that the style is what makes these interesting. Also a bit of the lore. So an artist can extend the style, and an author can extend the lore. After a while, some of the complexity can be difficult to navigate. So it can be helpful to ask an engineer. It can be helpful to engineer specific solutions to navigate different scopes of complexity. Specific scopes of complexity. So the concept is that these folios can be prompts for prompt engineering. We can employ artists to extend the style. We can also employ authors to extend the lore. And navigating specific scopes of complexity is a feat of engineering. It doesn't need to be laminated folios, it could also be paintings. And if you know an artist, then you can seed a company by giving people paintings of a familiar style. Or you can arrange sources like a book fair. I've been pressing leaves in this book about Chaucer. One of the animations pinned to the top of my TikTok profile uses boxes like this. You can also use the kinds of kits you can find in Hobby Lobby. And an advantage of that is affordability and familiarity. I've painted my laminated folios with tempera paint as a step in their life cycle. First I laminated them, then I painted them with acrylic, then I painted them with tempera paint. I painted them with acrylic to extend the depth of the concept. Then I painted them with tempera paint to make them easier to stack. As you can see, the acrylic paint got stuck together. But I like that effect. Most of these are recursive product design prompts. I mostly laminated the reproducible prompts. This one was from March 12, 2024. The Boon Bane Bone Bonk Honk concept. Lore.land has been a marketing research experiment related to FactShift. This is an example of an episode card. I used legal paper to make it more recognizable, and I didn't paint this one as much so it would stand out as an episode card. This is for boonbanebone.com. I did paint one of the sides. A software engineer can stabilize a code base that references each one of these, and you can extend these concepts with Midjourney, or you can ask ChatGPT more about them. As the different language models have gotten smarter, I've been asking them about these domains and these laminated folios, extending my style and having conversations with other professionals about them live on TikTok and via video. I can extend those concepts automatically. I can automate AI to extend these concepts, and then what would it be? What would it mean? This is literally a seed for a computer. Like you can model a computer with these seeds. This is the interface for factshift.com, which has been stable for 2 years. The site currently isn't online because there are other ways that people can access it. With 40 domains, it would be too expensive to do the same amount of investment into all of them. They all exist to describe a concept, and the concept is more describable when I make videos describing the concept. You should be able to do something similar, even though it might be difficult. If you've watched this far, here is a list of concepts that you can use to hydrate an ecosystem. .com, .college, .click, .biz, .work, and .ai. A list of components. A list of components. A list of concepts. You can think of these as anchors for features, then a list of feature handles. If you step through these domains and ask your AI to differentiate what might be the relevance per profession, so factshift.com, boon, bane, bone, bonk, honk, boof, lore, boon, bane, bone, teal stripes vibes, boonhonk.ing, squashy.com, college, work, biz, click, and AI. You can step through those and ask, what would the difference between these domains be? I can turn them back on, and it would be easy for me because I know how to do that. And I've also already prompted my ChatGPT. It has cost me money, but there are now free hosting options. And most people want to direct message me anyway. These subdomains have Instagram accounts. This is a language seed. Here is a calendar, as well as a style seed. This is an example of a square that I drew with people in Chicago. On the back is a prompt for one of the sites. I hope to encourage people to practice language. Here is a painting that emblemizes that concept. Here's another painting in a similar style. I made this one to practice. I challenge myself by incrementing these paintings. Fundamentally, it is a mentally challenging exercise. How can I paint something that is more than what I've already painted? And how can I spread the style? Here are some stickers that I got from Hobby Lobby. I use washi tape as part of my brand. I started painting this one October 9th, 2023, when I acknowledged the world was changing. About a year and a half later, I painted the back of most of these paintings. This is a logo concept that I've animated with Grok. It's also a seed for a bio-ecosystem for web components. I met a marine biologist in a bar once, and I'm kind of curious about working with them on an animated series. So for the past couple of years, as I've had them on my mind, I've been thinking about how I can bridge our worlds. This is a painting of Cosmic Gravy Davis. This one glows in the dark. This is part of a spray-painted logo series. I would recommend having a logo that you're willing to play with. You can hire me to draw one for you. I mention that as an aside because most people don't believe me. But I've played with my logo for 10 years now. Sometimes that's the reason that people hire me. You're allowed to have a logo and not play with it. You can hire a painter and use paintings to seed styles for web pages. Some painters practice telling stories with their paintings. Some painters maintain relationships with author ecosystems. Some painters understand the difference between illustration and design. Wat Boy is one of the tripart. Wat Boy is one of 3 protagonists in this universe. The concept is wonder about pie. That ties into boonbanebone.com. I wondered about this one for a while because of the writer's strike and also the relationship that people have with different language models. If I earnestly believe that I can create an immersive ecosystem for storytelling, what's the relationship that others are going to have with fringe characters? That one's tricky, so I'm describing it as I make this video and wondering out loud how others are going to relate to these characters. What if it's a really, really good metaphor for consciousness without being conscious? This is a honk painting. There's a Boon one. I can't find it right now. This is a painting that I painted to explore how runny these paints were. It includes a reference to Big O notation, which is the worst case scenario described in computer science. This is a logo concept that kind of feels like the digestive tract of a dragon. I draw these Boon Bane Bone logos to practice iterating quickly on multiple logo concepts. This is a scene that I've already sold to an author. They've given me permission to update this. I've also inked over it. So I am going to update this, and it's likely going to be featured in several of my TikToks. This is a journal that features the concept of a boon hat. The lore.land TikTok has mentioned this a few times, a couple years ago. I sent one of my teams these Bluey Valentines. Yes, I do know JavaScript, and also that's on my GitHub. Not to be snarky, I get that question a lot. Cheers.